Welcome back, everybody. Has it been a while? Probably not. Today, probably wondering what this is. And you're right if you think it's kombucha. I've been doing this operation for around 3 months now, and it's gotten quite out of hand a little bit. So I'm going to go into detail about how I made this and how you can very easily make this. There's actually another video that I got this from, so I'll mention to put that in the description below. But all right, let me show you what I've been doing. So it all started with a bottle of GT's kombucha, the original, which is raw and organic. I took all the labels off now. I've since drunk many of them. Now what I did was I took that and I dumped it into some tea, some sugar, and I let it set for a week. It made a tiny little cell mass, which I'm going to show you in a moment, which is this little thing in here. Then I added more sugar, I added more tea, and I dumped that into something this size. So this is about a gallon right here. I still have a little bit more room, but... So, this, after a week, makes you something that you can call kombucha. Now that's called the first fermentation. The second fermentation goes into these bottles, and you add things like, well, what I'm currently doing. I've got some blueberry in here, I've got some lemon zest, and I've got some ginger, and I'm calling it my blueberry ginger. Kind of the same thing as a GT Gingerberry. So I just made this. So this is going to be sitting for a week. You get some fresh sugar on the bottom, some black tea, 5 bags per gallon of water, and I just threw my SCOBY, which is cell mass is called, along with the kombucha starter, which is basically kombucha left over from the previous batch. This is going to set for a week, but behind it, I've got one to bottle. So I'm going to show you how I bottle this for the second fermentation, and yeah, I'll show you that gross thing that's on top called the SCOBY. Come on. So after the first fermentation, I have to prepare the bottles. I'm doing it this way. I've got some frozen blueberries. I've got some ginger, also frozen, that I've cut up. And I've got some lemon zest, which I've zested with this. Just going to add that straight in. Some people like to cook these things down and add water. Now the sugar, I've done it that way. I've done it so many different ways actually the past few months. I like this because it gets really fizzy, and a lot of people really like that. I really like carbonation. Just adding blueberries in about a 1/4 cup. That's good. Add a little bit of ginger. Add a little bit of lemon zest. And after I've done all of that, head on over here. There's my kombucha. And I just put it in. I'm going to make sure to fill it up only to about here, so it needs a little bit of room, because this is going to be crazy carbonated. When you open this thing up in about a day to 2 days, it's going to get really fizzy there. So maybe that was a little too much, but it should work good. And what this is going to do is go sit in the back room for, like I said, a day to 2 days. And I will test it by turning the cover and having the bubbles come up. And if I see a lot of bubbles come up and it starts foaming a lot, quickly seal this, put it in the refrigerator. It will stop fermenting. It won't explode on me. And there we go. I have this to drink. And I think it will last at least a month or so in the refrigerator. Some people say it lasts indefinitely because it's actually still fermented slowly. But yeah. Here's one. Let me do a larger one because I want to make a much bigger one as well. Notice GTs, yes. All the GT stuff I use. Water out of here. There we go. Alright, blueberries. That's equal to about between 3 and 4 of the regular size bottles that you get. Still more, I need more. You really want to get that flavor in. And you want your kombucha to eat those sugars, because that's what kombucha does. Alright, that's a good amount of blueberries. Let's generously put in some more ginger. I notice when I do cut my ginger, I still leave the skin on. I do wash it, but hey, skin's alright. I drink this in shakes every single morning, so it's good for you. And a big chunk of lemon zest. And right over here to get filling. Now, I gotta make sure when I take this out, I leave at least a cup and my SCOBY to put in the next batch. And I'm gonna show you how I do that as well. So, here we go, the filling process. These containers are great to get. I sell them at a lot of stores that sell things for weddings, because, you know, a party or a wedding will have maybe lemonade or iced tea in this, and guests will come and kind of pour their own. And maybe around 20 bucks you can get this for, maybe a little bit more. But it's great, it's glass, you want glass. It cleans very easily, and I clean this every single time before I get to the next batch. And in between, anytime I have no liquid in here, I'm gonna have it clean. Because we are dealing with yeast and such, so. Is it yeast or is it fungus? What is it? It's already looking nice. Like I said, I'm probably going to stop about here, because this thing gets really carbonated. It's got a lot of stuff in it. I already see bubbles coming up. Yeah, about there. Whoa. Alright. And that's going to go for the same amount of time. Usually when one of these bottles starts to get a little carbonated, I pretty much can guarantee the rest of them are like that as well. So I get a few more here. I've got a couple things left in here. I'm just going to put the rest of my blueberries. Let me just see, this could use more blueberries. Move these up. I did not pre-measure out the blueberries I have in this bowl. I just kind of put them in there. As long as you've got around a quarter cup. Some people will just put juices in here. I kind of like having the fruit, and for some reason it just gets more carbonated that way. And hopefully in the future get some different recipes with that. So put a little bit more ginger in here. Maybe I have a little more ginger kick with this. And a little more zest. This one could use more ginger. More zest. And I'm thinking this is going to make 3 more bottles, but it could make a little bit more. So let me just start filling and see what happens. When this gets down, the SCOBY, which is a cell mash, which I'll pull out in a moment, gets down to here where the spout is. I'm going to take this and I'm going to transfer this to a container right here. Someday will be known as the SCOBY Motel or Hotel, where I can keep all my SCOBYs for those people that want one. Like I said, it all came from GT's. Thank you, GT, for introducing me to kombucha. Alright, let's see how this one works. Getting pretty low. This SCOBY is actually a combination of a couple different SCOBYs, because every time you make kombucha, it doubles itself. It will hang down into this jar and a layer will form on top of a new one. And sometimes they stick together and sometimes they stay separate. Every one I've made is kind of stuck together a little bit. And you can just cut it and make two different ones out of that. I mean, you just kind of have to buy more of these containers. At a certain point, I think if you keep making it, you're going to have to make a decision how much space you want to devote to this and how many bottles you think you can go through in a week. And even if you give them out, I mean, the bottle is actually worth more to you than the product, because you just keep making more of this. Alright, so at that point, I'm going to take out a cup of what we call starter liquid, which is basically the same thing you're drinking. Move this thing down. Kind of a little bit, the stream's a little bit thin right now, so I think some of the SCOBY is kind of blocking it, but I'll just shake it up a little bit. There we go. And that's good. About a cup. There. Okay, now for the interesting part. I'm going to quickly wipe my hands down. Again, they've been washed several different times. Alright. These off. I have a napkin, a cloth napkin I put over the top with an elastic. You always want this thing to breathe, but you don't want flies and everything else getting there. And the fruit flies really enjoy the vinegar smell that comes out of this. So here I'm opening up. Here's a part a lot of people find gross. I'm going to grab onto the cell mass, which is slimy. It's kind of like grabbing onto a jellyfish. And that's what you get. There's the bottom of it. You can see there's another one I originally put in there. And here's the first one I ever made. Completely stuck into it. Perfect little disc. And it was made in a small container. So I'm going to take this. And I'm going to transport this into this container. Ooh. And get some residue on my fingers, which I'm going to wipe off. And I have enough left for this last one, so hopefully this will be good. And I can lean into it right now. Right. So I do have a little bit more. I probably could get most of another bottle, but what I'm going to do instead, because this is good enough, I have a whole back room filled with another whole batch that I put back out there, so it's a lot. I'm going to take this remaining starter liquid and I'm just going to pour it into my SCOBY, and this should just be added to the next batch that I make. Can never hurt to have a little bit more. Now, this is dirty, and I've got to clean it. So I'll see you back after this is clean. So, the container's been cleaned. I have pre-brewed 5 of these black teas. Some people use green tea. I found every recipe I find is always talking about black tea, and I guess it's just because black tea makes something that's a little bit smoother and such. I don't know. about all that stuff. I'm going to eventually try green tea because I guess you can mix different teas together, maybe have a little bit black. And I'm not worried about the caffeine because I actually never drink caffeine because the kombucha actually digests some of the caffeine, if not most of it. So I did this already. I'm going to take this container right now and I'm going to add 1 cup of just regular sugar. Here's my tea already brewed in this container. And it's cooled off, so I'm actually touching it. Still a little bit warm, but all I need is a little bit of this tea because this is concentrated. And then I'm going to add water until this gets to the gallon mark, which if you look at the side of this, you have all these ounces measured out. So I want about 128 ounces. So this is the 125 mark. Here's the 150. Here's the 100. So yeah, right here, 100, 125, 150. So a little bit around here. I'm going to do the rest of that with some nice water that I have. That is perfectly filtered. There we go. So I'm just going to get a little turn. A spoon to kind of get the sugar. Kind of mix in. That kombucha really loves sugar. Really loves that sugar, so we can eat that. And that's basically what you want. You're dealing with something that is eating something and fermenting the tea, so it gives you a byproduct, which a lot of people say tastes like vinegar, but in a good way. So it's good. I don't see a lot of sugar there. Starter. And then starter and previous SCOBY. Ooh. And then the only other thing to do, gotta add the top to it. So I got this completely flat on top. And I'm going to grab, oh, here's elastic. Take the elastic band, put it on, then I just kind of like to pull the sides. Make sure it's taut. And that's not going anywhere. Alright, so this is going to be ready in 1 week. You know, maybe even a little more. They say 7 to 10 days. What I will do is, after a week, a little bit more, I will take a little cup of something, maybe not a cup, I'll just take a little taste of it and see if it tastes alright. I've never had it be bitter or really horrible, and of course if you see little black dots or something else that doesn't look natural, like maybe looks like mold, obviously you gotta toss this. It's really hot out here right now, it's about 90 degrees and very, very humid. You might notice that on me. So this definitely doesn't take as long to ferment, but I keep it in the back room that is mostly cool and definitely darker than the rest of the house. So that's going to be great. The other bottles I have right here are going to be in for 1 to 2 days. I think I've done 3, maybe at most 4 days before, and that's when I actually crushed it up and made sort of a juice out of it. Every time I use fruit and just stick it in the bottle, it always ferments faster and it really gets really carbonated. And I think that's what a lot of people like. I like it that way. But I definitely will have a lot more than I expected this time around. Now that I'm up to 2 bottles. I think I might get another one of these and do 3 and maybe cap it at that and then start to make some friends that like kombucha. Do you like kombucha? Try this out. I will link to the video where I learned about how to do this very inexpensively without actually buying a starter, and made my own starter from the stuff I was drinking basically every week. GTs. So, please subscribe, please like the video, please comment. I will definitely talk about different flavoring I've got in a future video, and yeah, I'm going to keep doing this. It's doing well for me, and yeah, it beats soda or juice or anything else. Drink your kombucha. See you later.